please join me in welcoming Mr. Tayo Aluko. Welcome, thank you for being here tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Before we get into our discussion, let's take a look at some of your work.
Taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plants them is soon forgotten. But old man River, he just keeps
My first question is, was art an important part of your early life?
Yes, it was. My earliest memory of being involved in art is when my mother, back home in Lagos in Nigeria, told me one day that I was joining the primary school choir. I had no say in the matter. And I remember standing in the playing fields at Staff School, University of Lagos, and the headmistress, Mrs. Kanruwi, had us all lined up and asked us to sing something or the other. And she went from one person to the other, listening and tapping this person, say, go this way, and tapping the other person, go that way. And I went one way or the other.
Like
and
picking football teams.
Exactly. And it turned out I was with the people who could sing. And
Was this a surprise to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I must have sung at home, but I don't really remember doing that very much.
Okay.
So I was in the staff school choir, and I remember also acting a nativity play or something. And then when I went to secondary school in King's College, Lagos, I joined the choir there, and I also started acting. And I just never stopped doing that. And then I think in my third form, when I was 13, I, for the first time, got to sing a solo, and that carried on through to the end of my school days in Nigeria.
What, you then became the designated soloist?
That's right.
Of whatever collective you find yourself in.
Exactly. Interestingly enough, I have a friend in Brighton who went to the sister school, Queen's College, Lagos. Yes. And many years ago, she heard me singing at a festival in competition. And she announced to the audience afterwards, I'd just like to say that I've been friends, I've known Tayo since we were in secondary school. And I heard him singing a solo once, and I remember thinking that his voice was phenomenally bad.
Oh, what was her point? What
the point was that I kept on singing through the time when my voice was breaking.
Of course.
And I don't really remember that. I don't remember having a problem with it, but it must have sounded awful for her to actually say that about 30 years later. But thankfully, the school music teacher helped me pull through that. If it had been, it could have been a traumatic experience if she had pulled me out of doing it at the time.
So it would suggest that for a pretty good period of your life, you thought of yourself as a singer.
Yes.
So you would understand why my next question to you would be, how does someone who is an affirmed singer through their childhood make their way to becoming an architect? And how does one make a stress-free transition from singer to architect, and from architect back to singer and dramatist?
I guess the first transition from singer to architect was not stress-free. It was because being a singer was never really going to be a profession. It was always going to be a hobby.
Okay.
So it's something that I just did as part of my education, and something that I would carry on doing once I was a professional, and I would carry on doing it as a hobby on the side.
Alongside, yes.
I do remember by the time I got to London, after I think when I was in university, thinking, because I enjoyed it so much all the time, and I enjoyed the acting and singing in musicals, I thought, oh gosh, it would be nice to do this as a profession one day. But I dismissed that idea almost immediately, thinking that I wouldn't continue to enjoy it. And if I didn't enjoy it, there was no point doing it.